Hello, and you're watching the History Fella channel. In this video we're looking at Bill Doolin. One of the few outlaws who could be said to have continued the Robin Hood legacy was Bill Doolin. Doolin was the leader of the Doolin gang that had raided many banks in Oklahoma. When on the run from the law, Doolin had no problem finding places to hide out, because in his early years he'd used some of the proceeds of his robberies to support people when they moved into the territory and were struggling financially. In August 1893, the gang consisted of Bill Doolin, Bitter Creek Newcomb, Ollie Euntis, Charlie Pierce, Dan Clifton, aka Dynamite Dick, Bob Grounds, Alf Stone, Tulsa Jack Blake, Little Dick West, Little Bill Radler, Roy Doherty, aka Arkansas Tom Jones, and Red Buck Whiteman. They first struck in Kansas, where they robbed trains at Cimarron and Spearville. The gang then split up and headed for Ingalls in Oklahoma, where they met up in a hotel / saloon / brothel run by a madam by the name of Mary Pierce. Their arrival had not gone unnoticed, and word was sent out that the gang was holed up in the establishment. At the beginning of September, a covered wagon arrived containing 14 deputy marshals. As they got out, a young boy by the name of Del Simmons pointed out Bitter Creek Newcomb to the lawman. However, Newcomb spotted the lawman before they saw him and shouted a warning to the rest of the gang. Within minutes, the silence of the street was shattered with the sound of gunfire and the whine of bullets. One of the first to be killed was young Del Simmons, killed by Newcomb. In the ensuing gunfight, 3 marshals were killed: Leif Shadley, Dick Speed, and Tom Houston. The gang made a run for the stables, with the exception of Roy Doherty, who was in an upstairs room when the firing started. Finding himself trapped, Doherty started firing from the room. He gave himself up when Marshal Jim Masterson, brother of the gunfighter Bat Masterson, threatened to blow the hotel up with dynamite if he didn't surrender. A woman by the name of Rose Dunn, who had recently married Newcomb, aided the remaining members of the gang. She ran the gauntlet of bullets to take additional guns and ammunition to the outlaws, which enabled them to escape. Newcomb, though, was badly wounded during the shootout, but despite this he managed, aided by his bride, to get a clean getaway. The gang headed for the lawless area of the Creek Nation to hide up, but when they were made aware that the 3 of the toughest and most feared deputy U.S. Marshals had been assigned to track them down, Heck Thomas, Bill Tileman, and Chris Madston, to boost their rapidly dwindling funds, the gang carried out a raid on a bank in Woodward, Oklahoma, where they netted $6,500. A number of other lawmen were also trailing the gang, and amongst them there was the Deputy Sheriff Frank Canton, who had served in Wyoming some years previously. He knew of Bill Doolin's practice of hiding out amongst friends who owed him favours, and so contacted the Dunn brothers, who were also suspected of having rustled cattle with Doolin. The offer of amnesty and a reward for information leading to Doolin's capture proved too tempting for the brothers. They told the lawmen that some of the gang were going to meet up at their place, and some days later brought the bodies of Newcomb and Pierce into the town of Guthrie with identification. No questions were asked concerning how the 2 men met their death. Such was the need for the gang to be captured. One by one the gang were tracked down, the majority of them being shot dead when they refused to surrender. Among those who were captured were Bill Doolin and Bill Clifton, who were held in the local jail at Guthrie. Somehow the two men managed to overpower the jailer and escape along with a number of prisoners. One of the Dunn brothers, Bill Dunn, told Heck Thomas where Bill Doolin was hiding, and even joined the posse that surrounded the house in which he was holed up. As he tried to make a break for it, Bill Dunn's shotgun cut him down, killing him instantly. Concerned about his own safety, Bill Dunn later approached Frank Canton and threatened to shoot him if he told anyone about his double dealings. He made the mistake of reaching for his gun, and as he did so, Canton was faster and more accurate and killed him. One of the other gang members, William Tulsa Jack Blake, continued to evade his pursuers, but whilst resting his horse, the posse led by Deputy U.S. Marshal William Bartling Morrell caught up with him. Once again he managed to get away, but was tracked to a hideout in Major County, Oklahoma. In a gun battle that lasted almost an hour, Tulsa Jack made a break for it, but was shot and killed by Deputy U.S. Marshal Morrell. The breakup of the Doolin gang didn't stop other outlaws from operating, and one in particular, Henry Starr, was very active.